There's a new extension for SketchUp 16 available at the extension warehouse. It's called 2DXY SlickMoves. Here's an image of the toolbar for SlickMoves from the first page of the help file. The tools are rotate about the Z, mirror X and Y, resize, the 6 standard kinds of alignment, and equal spacing in the X or Y. These are the standard power tools of 2D graphics. If you've used any 2D program like desktop publishing or diagramming software like Microsoft Visio, you're already familiar with these tools. All I've done is implement them for SketchUp and enable them to work on any plane or face in three-dimensional space. You might be surprised how useful they can be in 3D design in SketchUp. This is only going to be a demonstration. For more details about how they work and how to use them, there'll be separate tutorial videos nearby that you should also look at. So let's see how some of these tools work. Here's a little design vignette. Wouldn't it be nice if I could select that door and the wall it's on and align the door with the bottom of the wall with one click, or center the door on the wall with one click, or select these two windows and the door and align the windows with the top of the door. Or select this wall again and equally space the windows and the door across the extent of that wall. Might be nice to be able to tell how large these windows are, and perhaps, if they're not as wide as I like, add 6 inches to their width. Then let's again equally space them across the wall. Sometimes it's nice to be able to mirror a door like this with one click. Or let's take these two chairs and rotate them with one click. If you're an experienced user of SketchUp, you already know how much more difficult it would be to do all these things without SlickMove tools. Now, SlickMoves is motivated by a few simple concepts which are illustrated here. The first is that discrete physical objects in SketchUp are represented by component instances or groups, so I use the term object to refer to these. And SlickMoves only acts on objects. You can't move any other entity type like faces or edges using the SlickMove tools. The second concept is that SketchUp, the tools that it provides for manipulating objects, the Move tool, the Rotate tool, and the Scale tool, are tremendously powerful and flexible, but most of the things we need to do on a minute-by-minute basis are much simpler than they are. Move can move an object anywhere in 3D space. Rotate, if I show you the Rotate tool here, it can rotate about any axis using any point as the center point. And the scale function, which I'll show you here, has 26 handles. But most elementary design acts are much more two-dimensional than that because we're governed by gravity in our lives. Most objects sit on a horizontal plane or are attached to a face. And 90% of the time we only want to rotate objects about their z-axis, like I do here with this chair. When we want to move them, we want to usually keep them on the plane that they're on. And when we either move or scale objects, we usually only want to do that in one direction at a time, usually the X or the Y. So let's go back and look at a few other things we can do. I'm going to select this post here, and using the standard SketchUp Move tool with the Control key, I'm going to copy it over here, divided by 3. So you can see these aren't properly aligned, and it's obvious in this case, but a lot of times you do this and pick a point that's slightly out of alignment and never realize it. So with SlickMoves, of course, I can select these 4 posts and align them with the first post. Then let's select the window, the door, and the other window, and equally space them all together across the span of the wall. Now let's go up to the roof. The roof is a group. I'm going to edit inside the roof, and let's say my client wants to add an extra skylight. So I'll select one and again use their standard Move tool to copy a skylight like that. Now I'm going to select the 4 skylights and the roof and equally space them across the roof. I can also add a guide at any dimension I like, and select that guide and the 4 skylights and align the skylights with that guide. So let's look inside this design and try a few other things. I'm going to add a guide on the wall here at 75 inches and select that guide and these 3 pictures and align them to the top of the guide. Then select the wall and equally space the picture across the wall. If I click on this again, it shows me equal spacing between the centers of the pictures. You can toggle back and forth until you decide which you like better. Let's select this table and the floor and center the table on the floor. Now let's select these 3 chairs. I'm going to rotate them so that they face the table. Align them with each other. And by selecting the table, I can equal space them across the length of the table. I'm going to put a guide at the edge of that table, select it, and now align the chairs with that guide centered so they're under the table. Back to the floor, this step chest, I'm going to align it to the wall, center it on the wall. I might like to mirror it this way, and I can even go inside the step chest, select this divider, copy it, select these 4 dividers, and equally space them. I've got a rug over here, which I can also center on this floor. I'm going to make it a little bigger. It's 8 foot by 6 foot. I'm going to make it 12 foot by 8 foot, which is a better size for this location. And this chandelier, I can select this wall, center it on the wall, align it with the top of the wall, then center it on the room. Because I'm an architect, these are the kinds of objects I deal with in my work, but whether you're an urban designer moving buildings on a city plan, or a carpenter, cabinet maker moving pieces of wood in a cabinet design, the SlickMove tools will work just as well, no matter what you design. So let's just go back for a moment to the help file. There are instructional videos that go into more detail. I divide these tools into 2 groups. The green ones are what I call object tools, which work on individual objects. The yellow tools are arrangement tools, which take multiple objects and arrange them, aligning them and equally spacing them. There's a separate video, instructional video on each of these groups. Each tool follows a simple set of rules that can be combined in several ways to produce endless variations of moves. So go look at the instructional videos, download the free trial of SlickMoves, read this help file, and I think you'll like what you see. If before today you didn't have a compelling reason to upgrade to SketchUp 16, I think now you do. So thanks for watching, and have a nice day.